Feedback is a key feature of all primary school settings. It can be given orally or written from either a member of staff or peers in the classroom. The Department for Education acknowledges the importance of feedback within Teacher Standard 6.4, which says that successful teachers must give pupils regular feedback, both orally and through accurate marking, and encourage pupils to respond to the feedback. When looking at the EEF Teaching and Learning Toolkit, it showed us that feedback is a strategy that had high impact at a low cost. Therefore, this was an aspect that we felt we wanted to look into further. In order for feedback to be significant and to have an impact on a child's learning, it should be immediate, high quality, but not necessarily high quantity, give clear instructions for progression, and time should be given to reflect on the feedback.
Briggs states that while ticks, smiley faces, gold stars and good work comments express approval, they do not help students to bridge the gap between present performance and future goals. This is typical of written feedback, as this is a common finding of many researchers. The EEF's marking review argues that grades are given out too frequently, resulting in children prioritising them over the more important comments on how to improve. Teachers also suggest there is an issue regarding how children interpret feedback, as there is an abstraction between what the teacher means and what the children understands, which restricts progression. Forsteinen argues that a major issue with written feedback is that it is given too late. However, she believes that if given earlier, it would be more worthwhile. She acknowledges that this will be difficult as it is unsustainable for teachers to achieve this. However, written feedback can be a good way of helping children improve their work. Marzano stated that feedback with reasons why something was right or wrong had a positive impact, increasing learning achievement by approximately 8.5%, rather than commenting on whether something was simply correct or incorrect.
The University of Cambridge suggested that oral feedback is a powerful force for moving pupils on and will be the most regular and interactive form of feedback. Grigg states that primary school children prefer oral feedback to written feedback. Our findings have shown that it is better to focus on specific feedback rather than vague praise, as it is more beneficial to the children as there will be a clearer pathway to progress. Oral feedback can be given to the pupils instantly, which allows children to immediately address these issues and thus progress faster towards a higher level of learning. The importance of oral feedback is supported by Rodell, as she stated that oral feedback is an important tool to help students achieve higher. As long as the quality of oral feedback is high, the learning outcome of the children will improve. St Margaret's C Primary School in Lincolnshire found that conversations can help, in the way of a teacher recording themselves talking and children listening to it, in order to give every child a clear target and message, which may be more time consuming but lessens the issue of written feedback being unclear. On the other hand, Barnett et al. Also explained that a downside to oral feedback was that it is not long lasting, which could mean that a pupil could forget or misinterpret what was said. This is also an issue in the modern day classroom, as evidence is vital to Ofsted inspections, something not provided by oral feedback. Oral feedback has to be of a high quality, including high quality questioning, in order for it to be effective, but by giving it quickly, this could result in a lack of quality.
The sheer amount of written feedback that teachers are expected to do is often described as unnecessary or a burden. If the hours spent do not have the commensurate impact on pupil progress, stop it. The usage of peer feedback is an effective method that can both reduce the amount of written feedback whilst allowing children to deepen their understanding of their learning. The University of Reading suggests that one of the major positives of using peer feedback is the self-evaluation skills which are gained while using this method of feedback, alongside the development in the children taking responsibility in their own and others' learning. However, in order for peer feedback to be used effectively, children need to know how to give effective feedback. As long as children have been trained in how to give effective feedback, children will receive valuable targets. Creasy emphasises the negative aspects of using peer assessments. He said, the requirement that they carry out assessment on others may be seen as creating an anxiety in respect for revealing their own limitations. Therefore, if the children are trained in how to give effective feedback to their peers, this is a successful method of feedback.
Brookhart describes two key elements to giving effective feedback. Number 1, clarity is important. Students need to understand the feedback information as you intend it. Students have different vocabularies and different backgrounds and experiences. For example, use simple vocabulary and sentence structure instead of using big words and complicated sentences. Number 2, teachers must be specific with feedback, as comments like "write more" at the top of the paper do not give effective guidance. It helps to use specific vocabulary with an explanation in written or oral feedback. Weed et al. Noticed how crucial children's response to feedback is, and he found this demonstrates a lack of clarity from children when trying to understand the feedback from teachers, as well as having no clear steps on how to improve their work, therefore preventing progress. The table below, provided by Brookhart, details strategies that teachers can employ to help students to use feedback. To conclude, we found that feedback seems to be beneficial to pupils as long as it is employed effectively and is of a high quality, which will allow children to improve their work. It is an easy to implement strategy at a low cost to the school and is one of the most powerful influences on learning. Importantly, Torrance and Pryor remark that teachers should move away from focusing feedback on themselves and more towards the strategies used to address the task at hand. And for effective learning to take place, children need to understand that their efforts are more important than ability and that they will inevitably make mistakes.